What's up, everybody? I thought I'd shoot a video real quick because I've been having a lot of people calling me from across the United States, across the world, asking me what's my story, why am I the way that I am, and etc. And many people thought it'd be a good idea if I were to shoot this video and let you guys into my world. You know, why am I the way that I am? It all started when I was 6 years old. When I was a kid, I had family members. I have uncles that would tell me I was never going to amount to anything in life. I was never going to do anything. All because of, I don't know. I think it was because I was a kid who knew how to properly be asked to do things the right way. I was never a kid who wanted to be bossed around. I was never a kid who wanted to be forced to do things. If you asked me to do things nicely, I'd do anything for you. I think I was just born that way. And I would have relatives try to force me to do things without even asking. And all I would simply do was be like, if you say please, I'd do it. But they wouldn't do it. So therefore, I didn't do it. Is that right or that wrong for a 6-year-old? I don't know. I was just born with that type of mentality. I was just born with the ways that if you ask people to do things the nice way, you can get anything from me. So when I was 6 years old, I had an uncle tell me that I wasn't going to amount to anything for the rest of my life. I was never going to be successful. And it all stemmed from that day in his garage. Okay? It all stemmed from that day in his garage. And it was something as small as go play the drums for me because I know you can play the drums really well. That's where it came from. Yes, I was able to play the drums. My father taught me how to play the drums when I was a kid because he was a musician. Okay, so I knew how to play the drums. I knew how to sing. My mother taught me, how to sing, so I was quite the vocalist. But I would not do it by force. I would only do it if you asked me to do it politely. So that's where it started. Okay, then as I was growing up, I still had those same relatives telling me I wasn't going to be smart enough. I was not talented enough. I was never going to be good enough in basketball. And those kind of things. So the more negativity I had in my life, the more I set out to want to prove people wrong in my life. Was basketball my favorite thing to do? No, it was not. I could care less about playing basketball. But why did I play basketball? I played basketball because I wanted to prove to people around me that I can do it. That is the only reason why. So as I was growing up, that was my motivation. I was more of a football and a baseball kid. But I wanted to prove people wrong around me. Okay, so that's where it started. Okay? And then, when I was 7 and 8 years old, I have a cousin who used to sexually molest me when I was a kid. Tried to, at least. Never became successful, but he tried, and I felt helpless. No one was there to help me. No one was there to defend me. I was the smallest kid, and I had to fight off myself. I had to protect myself, and no one was there for me. So as I grew up, I developed this protective instinct for everyone around me because I wanted to protect other people in ways that no one was there to protect me. And it's kind of hard to talk about it right now because of the pain and the suffering that I had ever since I was a kid. But I knew then that one day I was going to be able to protect myself and be there for other people in ways that no one was there for me. So as I grew older, when people latched on to me, I was like a leech. I was on them, and I was on them tough, because the last thing I ever wanted them to do was to experience what I experienced. With my children now, I'm very cautious about who they're around, when they're around, when Dad's not there, because I don't ever want them to experience that. Okay? Fast forwarding a little bit, because I encountered a lot. You guys asked for this. You asked for it, so now you got it. I come from a family that didn't have very much. Didn't have much at all. I always wore shoes that was too small. I wore hand-me-down clothes. Grew up eating welfare cheese, government cheese, and peanut butter sandwiches and stuff. And me and my cousins pretty much had to fight over food. 'Cause we all lived together. And I knew that when I was a kid, I didn't want to live that way when I grew older. The mom didn't have a whole lot. Dad didn't have a whole lot. Dad wasn't there a lot. My dad had me in and out of gambling shacks when I was 6, 7, 8 years old. I'm watching people getting stabbed. I'm watching people getting shot over a dice game. I'm watching people, get in a fight and get their head busted open over a pool game because people are gambling their checks away. These are things that a 6, 7, 8-year-old shouldn't see. So I knew right then and there, when I was 6 or 7 years old, I was not going to grow up gambling my life away. I was not going to grow up sacrificing my hard-earned money, for a risk of getting my head busted open, getting shot, getting stabbed because I took somebody else's money. Okay? So after seeing stuff like that, it made me grow up a lot faster than what I wanted to as a kid. I don't think no 6, 7, 8-year-old kid should see anything like that. My dad's so drunk, he couldn't even drive me home from a gambling shack. So my first driving experience was when I was 8 years old. I'm driving a 1979 Lincoln Continental. And I hit everything on the road, ran over every sign that possibly was on. I was 8 years old. I was a small kid. I had no excuse why I should be driving a boat of a vehicle at 8 years old, but I didn't have a choice. My dad was too drunk to drive, so he made me drive. Okay, and then not long after that, I moved to Kentucky. 8 years old, here I am watching Ku Klux Klan rallies out my back window, sitting on my porch playing Garbage Pail Kids, and the Ku Klux Klan's walking right by me, staring at me. I didn't know any better as a kid, so I stared back. By this time, I experienced so much in life, I had no fear. I had no fear at all. The Klan rally was right in the backyard. I turned on the lights, opened the window, I sat there and watched it because I had no fear. I'm outside trying to talk to them as they walking down the street because I had no fear. I seen the worst of the worst before I even reached the 9 years old. I experienced more things than most of you guys probably even read in history books. I experienced that. So as I encountered more of these things as a kid, I learned that I wanted to be something different. There was a reason why I experienced this kind of things when I was growing up. And I knew that as a kid, but I never knew why. And as I mentioned before, I didn't come from money. I didn't come with that silver spoon in my mouth. I didn't come with a happy marriage at home. I didn't come from any of that. I felt like an outcast in my own household. It was my mom and my stepdad and my little brother, then it was just me. I felt like no one cared if I was there, if I even existed. There was plenty of times I contemplated suicide because I didn't think anybody cared. But I knew that one day that I was going to be destined for greatness. So I started trying to make my own money. When I was 12 years old, I'd go steal from the local grocery store, stack my lockers with candy and gum just so I could sell it to my friends. Because everybody on the basketball team was wearing Nikes and Converses and I was wearing Payless shoes that was too small. I wanted to make my own money. I taught myself how to build a profit because I knew that was going to be the only way I can get it. So I went to school I went to the grocery store the next day. Instead of stealing it this time, I gave them the money back from the merchandise that I stole, which they had no clue that I did it. And then I bought myself some more merchandise and built a bigger profit until I was able to get the money that I wanted. Mom didn't have no idea what was going on. Then I taught myself how to cut hair because I wanted to make more money. I wanted to build a bigger profit. And so I knew when I was 12 and 13 years old that I was destined to be my own boss. I just didn't have no clue how to make it happen. I say this all the time to people that I was psychologically unemployable. But I'd have no idea how I was going to make that possible. I told everybody ever since I was a kid, I'm not like everybody else in my family. I don't think in such a small box. But I had no idea how to make that possible. When I didn't know about going to college until my senior year. But I learned that everybody in my family went to college, but none of them finished. Even my uncles who told me I wasn't going to do anything with the rest of my life. So my only motivation for going to college was just to prove to my uncle that I was going to be something. To prove to my uncle that I was going to be successful in a way that he wasn't. That was my only motivation for going to college. I could have went to barber school, opened my own business when I got out of high school, and built a successful barbershop. But that wasn't good enough to me because I felt like he had still looked down on me. So not only did I go to college, but I graduated with 2 degrees. It was more like, look at me now. I learned that nobody in my family ever graduated from college. Somebody had to break that cycle. I wanted to be something that my little brother and my cousins could look up to. Because I felt like personally, if I did not graduate from college, how do I expect them to graduate from college? I decided to put that weight on my shoulders. Somebody had to break that cycle for the next generation. I put that on my shoulders. So not only was I set out to prove to people that I was smart enough to graduate from college, I wanted to create a new road that the generation behind me could follow. I did that successfully. My little brother went on to graduate from college. My cousin, he's at Washburn right now playing football. He's going to graduate from college. He knows that we're not going to settle for anything less than that. So that road has been paved. Now I'm on a new road. It's called Vima. Because I experienced what a lot of these college students is experiencing right now. Graduated from college from 2 degrees. I came out unemployed. Took me 3 years to get a full-time job. It took me 7 years to get a job that I actually applied to. Have I ever been fired for poor performance? No. I got fired because of the color of my skin. Black people wasn't talented enough to excel in the car business. And this was after I became the only master certified finance and insurance guy in the Midwest. But still, black people wasn't good enough to do that. I got fired when I was in the process of closing 10 accounts that would have put me in the top 10% of the company. Because they didn't want to pay me more money. I'm not the kind of person that lays down when people knock me down. I get right back up. So when I got introduced to the Sarver family, I never felt more comfortable a day in my life with anything that I'd ever done. I knew that something special was going to come out of this. And then when Dan Sarver sat me down and he told me that I was destined for greatness, there was my light bulb. Because that's something I believed ever since I was 9 years old. But I was never given the opportunity to do so. So as I got involved with this opportunity, not only was it about the money, it was all about proving to people in my past from when I was 6 years old, to show people that I am a success. I am something. I am somebody. And there's no one out there that's going to tell me that I'm not. I wanted to help many generations of people who was getting ready to encounter what I experienced in life. No jobs. Broke. Check the check. Not been able to fulfill your dreams. I wanted to help people dream again. And Vima has given me all that and more. Not only am I dreaming again, not only did I reestablish my goals, but I have been in a position where I can help other people achieve what they want out of life. And listen, we're just getting started. So just like the great Eric Thomas says, I used the pain to push me to greatness. Everything that I experienced in life was fuel It was fuel in my tank to keep pushing. Never allow failure to be an option. Never lose. Never quit. I would never give in to defeat, ever. Winning is the only option. Failure's not. So I use that pain and I put that into my leadership because I don't want anybody ever to experience what I encountered in life. I will never tell you that you can't be something. I will never tell you that you can't excel and be successful. I will always be there to encourage you. I will never let anything bad happen to you on my watch. As long as I can help you and protect you, that's going to happen. As long as I am in a position to help you become successful, you have my word. I will make that happen. Holla at your boy.